conjured up and come into this country, and they are seeming as if they are all and everywhere in this country. This country has found a way to open its heart and to open the door to the migrants. But yet, when Black America asks, will you help us? America seems to have amnesia when it comes to Black America. Some of you will say, Mr. Sistrunk, we've known you for all of these years. Why would you put your political capital on the line for reparation when there's been hundreds and thousands of people who have cried for this same issue and they've gone nowhere? Why would you put your political capital on the table when Chicago has allocated resources, when the state of Illinois is having hearings, when you yourself has already planned to have a hearing at the Democratic Convention and at the Republican Convention? Why would you put your political capital on the table for this issue? And the answer is very simple. It's because Black America is hurting right now. Our children has lost their faith in religion. Our children have lost its faith in the ability to go to school and to accomplish and to continue to grow and thrive in this society. Whenever a 22-year-old youth pull a pistol on a Chicago policeman or health worker anywhere, and pulls the trigger and kills that person, that is a stench on our society. We cannot stand by and continue to let this happen. We cannot stand by and utterly ignore this that is happening. The reparation that this country will give, $50 million, is a pitch in the Salvation Army kettle during the wintertime. $47 million. When every time the space shuttle goes up into the space station, that is $3 billion. Just recently in the state of Illinois, the Governor Pritzker, passed a sweeping $53 billion in revenue for the state of Illinois, and he allocated $1 billion, $780 million for the migrants who aren't even here. I ask America, why not? I stand up today here in America. America, this is your day, not just Black America's day. We will invest in the health of our community and the families. Black men, get ready to come back home. The resolution is the latest call for reparations and racial economic justice from city officials, local community leaders, scholars in recent months. Federal reparations are the best way to accomplish and to compensate Black Americans for many decades of government policies that has advantaged white people and disadvantaged Black people. The resolution is the latest call for reparation for economic justice from city officials, local officials, scholars in recent days. In Durham, North Carolina, the City Council recently approved a resolution calling on the state's federal lawmakers to support a series of measures to increase racial equity in the United States. This resolution asks for immediate enactment of programs to provide reference and frameworks for a national discourse on reparation to support H.R. 40. The congressional bill that would establish a commission to study the reparation proposal for African Americans, we've studied long enough. We've worked We waited long and hard. We're calling on America. Is this America? Is this America, like Fannie Lou Hamer once said, is this America? Aren't we Americans too? Don't we deserve the riches of white America as everybody else have? Don't we deserve the right to have our children taken care of and our children taken to school in cars, on safe buses, on trains? White America, my name is Ziph Sistrunk, if I hadn't said it yet. And I'm appealing directly to you. White America, we here in this country, African Americans, we're at a standstill when it comes to our relationship with you. White America, sometimes we turn with you and you turn back to us, and we all agree to work together, white America. And then there are some times when white America, you turn a deaf ear on us as your brothers and sisters, Christian brothers and sisters here in this country. We're calling on you, white America, don't turn from us, as the song would say. Black America, we need white America. To our Jewish friends who we have stood with you like brothers and sisters. To my Jewish friends who have unseen power when it comes to state and legislators and representatives and legislation and just raw power. Our Jewish friends, we're asking you if you would stand with us on this one. Yesterday on this very show, I clenched my hands together. In unity, I clenched my fists together in pride and dignity. I clenched my fists together as a form of asking white America to join hands with us on this issue. I know you may say, when you look on places like Skid Row, and Roosevelt Road in Chicago on 12th Street, you will think that the people in that setting are a reflection of all Black America. Well, I'm here to tell you that they are not. Black America have the ability to build such structures as the Washington Memorial and the White House, just to give you an idea of the intellect of the black man and the black woman. We're calling on this country. We're calling on the Congress to move on House Bill 40. That bill will establish a form of reparation for Black America. We are not ashamed to tell white America that at this moment in our history, Black America, we are suffering. We're hurting in this country right now. In this country, the bottom line is Black America, we are not doing well. And if anybody tell you that we are doing well, you tell them that they are not being truthful to you. Today I come before you hurting, dismayed, frustrated, angry, dismayed, lonely, melancholic, disagreeable, unfaithful, unregrettable, disgruntled. We need you, white America. We need you to stand with us. Black America needs to be restored revigorated, rejuvenated. And white America, we're calling on you if you'll stand with us on this one as we stood with you in every war that you've ever taken on. September 11, when that dreadful day came, Black America was the firemen. Black America was the National Guard. White America, we're coming to you, letting you know that Black America at this moment in history, we are hurting. Because we are hurting, we're calling on our brothers and our sisters here in America, because America has a way, when it wants to, bringing its people home. And that's what I'm asking this country to do at this very moment. I'm asking this country at this very time because it is so prevalent, it is so needed for Black America at this moment. Let us come home too. Welcome us as you did the migrants. White America, Black America, we are hurting right now, and we are looking for somebody who in this country will be our friend. In Durham, North Carolina, 3-4 years ago, they passed a resolution that asking the United States Congress if they would side with Black America and begin to allocate some form of reparation in the city of Durham, North Carolina. Durham, North Carolina is the bedrock of the South. Durham, North Carolina is a city that at one time was highly engaged in slave trade. And now they've taken the audacity, they've taken the courage to say that we were wrong. They are now saying that, is there any way on this earth that we can begin to come together and tell Black America, not only are we sorry, but ask Black America, how can we begin to resolve this issue? How can we begin to help Black America be healed again? We're calling on this country to stand with us. This election is not about Donald Trump. This election is not about President Biden. This election is about one thing: where do Black America stand with America now? This winter, we had to sit around and watch the migrants come into our community, into our police stations, into our parks, into our housing, into our senior citizen homes. We had to sit back and see this cartilage, this demagogue, this disrespect to our community that took place. We were very disappointed. We were paralyzed in so much that there was nothing, it seemed, that we could do as Black America when the migrants came into our community, when our African Americans, when our Caucasian elected officials, they opened up the troughs. They opened up the treasure. Is there not any crumbs left for us? We're calling on white America. I'm calling on white America. Stand with us, white America. Stand with Black America on this one so we can continue to stand with you as we've done in every war that you fought. Going back to the Revolutionary War, going back to the Vietnam War, going back to the Korean War, going back to every single war that this country has fought in. Black America has stood with you. Now we are lonely. Now we are down as black people. But we're not out. We're not foolish enough to know that we're running on a flat tire right now. Our car has no oil in it. Our car has no gas in it. Our car is leaking air out of its tires. We're calling on white America to stand with us. James Girac, Beverly Reed Scott. Black America, at this moment in history, we are hurting, and I'm not going to stand back and act as if this is not happening. Our kids are being deceived. Our kids are afraid. Our kids are unaware as to what their future, where they're going to go for their next meal. Who is going to protect them? Which way do they go for vision? Which way do they go for security? All over the world, children are being rebellious to their moms, to the authorities, their teachers, their coaches. We all have to come together on this issue. White America, black America needs to be restored, needs to be revigorated. Just as you're doing with the Lithuanians, as you're doing with the Jewish community, what about us? Do we not stand for something with you? When the Revolutionary War took place, British say, go and get them, bring them back. There were African American soldiers fighting with the American revolutionists. We're hurting. The Durham City Council recently approved a resolution calling for the federal lawmakers to support a series of measures to increase racial equality in the United States. The resolution asks for immediate enactment of programs to provide restitution for the descendants of enslaved Africans in order to eliminate the racial wealth gap, create a universal basic income, provide guaranteed living wages that are in the federal section, federally funded, and increase the federal minimum wage to $15 to $20. Federal reparations are the best way to account and to compensate black Americans for the decade of government policies that has disadvantaged whites and disadvantaged blacks. This resolution is the latest call for reparations and racial economic equality from city officials, local officials, scholars in recent months. We're calling on the Speaker of the House, Johnson. We're calling on the Speaker of the House, Johnson, to bring forward House Bill H.R. 40, Green Slate Institute for Justice is calling on white America, black America, of all colors and races to get behind black America as we heal and help us heal ourselves. 18 and over, we're calling on you to receive a one-time payment of $1 million. If you're 18 and under, we're calling on, if you're an African American, we're calling on you to receive $500,000. And then when you're 18 years old, to receive the balance of your reparation. We're talking about health issues. We're talking about education. We're talking about investing in our communities, our families, and in America. America, this is your day, not Black America Day. We will invest in health in our communities and in our families. Black men, get ready to come home. We need you, white America. We need white America just like the many different migrants who came over here. When the migrants came over here recently this winter, America opened up its gate, opened up its doors to those who were in need. We're no different in this country now. We are in need. We are calling on white America, and I keep saying white America, but I'm talking about Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics. I'm talking about anybody within the sound of my voice. Black America needs you. We need this country to set forth the process that will give each African American, just as you showed us with the census and with the stimulus money. America, you showed us that you know how to disseminate money. You showed us that you know just how and what to do to compensate people, to show them that they are not alone, and to show them that you really do care about them. So we're calling on you today, America. We're calling on you today, America, to stand with us and to help Black America. When you help Black America, when you help Black America with its babies, when you help Black America with its children, with its education, with its community, when you help Black America with the many adversities that it faces, then you help everybody. You're not just helping Pamela. I'm glad that you can join me. We're talking about how to get reparations for Black America. Black America is hurting right now. Black America doesn't know which way is yesterday and which way is tomorrow. All over this country, children are rebellion not only against their moms and fathers and churches and teachers and schools and principals and coaches and parents and nieces and nephews all over this country. The resolution is the latest call for reparations and racial economic justice from city officials, local community leaders, scholars, after spending nearly 2 years studying the wealth and the economic criminal reparations for the descendants of slaves in order to eliminate the racial wealth gap, create a universal income, provide guaranteed living wages that are on the federal Section 2. We're calling on white America in this country. When you see Black children get on the L's, when you see Black children walk around with a blunt in their mouths in the old days, these are some of the things that you would never see. Our country has gone down a road that if we do not stop, I'm afraid to say that there's no returning. Now, a certain party, and I won't say which party it is, but when your children go to school and your child leave home as a boy, Ted, he leaves home with blue jeans on, with a Roy Rogers type of shirt. When he get into class, what is being taught to these kids is unthinkable. When your son now comes home from school, had on blue jeans and a Roy Rogers shirt, and now when they come home from school, he no longer is talking about he's a boy, he's talking about he's a girl now, from Ted to Tiffany, and we have a problem with that. If you go up to that school and tell your teacher that she is wrong for teaching your kids these type of ideology, you are going to jail as a parent. As a parent, you have no rights in these schools. As a parent, you have no rights or to be involved with the local school councils. Your child leave home at 8 o'clock in the morning and he was a boy. When he get home at 5, he is talking about he's a girl now, and if you go to school and try to protest and tell the teacher that she are wrong for teaching this type of ideology in the school, you going to jail. So I'm going to go back on the topic that we're talking about again in this country, this election. When it comes to abortion, that's an issue between the woman and her doctor. and her husband if she is there. We need good we need good compassionate men, mentors to heal the children without a father. We need open houses for mentoring program. You remember how they used to have the children? One of my friends in Chicago, Illinois, she's telling me that there needs to be people who can reach out to our young people. Black America, some will say, we've already given you reparation. You get a welfare check. You get food stamps. You get Section 8. You get low income. You get free food at the market. Ain't that enough? Ain't that enough for you that we've done for you already, Black America? Why would you want us to do any more? That's a good question. But it's not the right answer. And it's not the right question. When the migrants came over here, I had a few friends, Paul Marla and myself. We were out seeing just what the situation was in Chicago, and they were coming so fast we couldn't even organize it. But the mayor of Chicago, the governor of Illinois, the resources that they poured into for the migrants was incomprehensible. That's why I'm calling on white America, Hispanic, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics. Join us. Join Black America. In April of 2015, the National African American Reparation Commission was with distinguished professors across the country came together to put together a framework where this country can begin the process of dealing with Black America. White America, if you think the solution is to continue to deny Black America and continue to lock up Black America like it's a monkey in a cage, a gorilla in a cage, a lion in a cage, you're making the wrong decision. White America, when the British came over here for you, when the Vietnamese was at war with you, when the Iranians went to war with you, there was always one people who always stood with you, white America. Now we need you to stand with us. On November 5th is election day. On the 13th in Chicago at Kennedy King College, the state of Illinois, will have a hearing at 10 o'clock on Saturday the 13th of July. Then the very next day, our committee will have a 24-hour hearing for the Republican convention, at the Republican convention. On August 18th, we will come to Chicago on Madison Avenue in Pulaski, where drugs are being sold as if they're popsicles and orange juice and coffee cake. We will set up on that corner on Madison Avenue where just recently a 5-year-old child was shot and killed. Where if you go right now and you need a fifth of dope or you need a tray ball of weed, whatever you need, you can find it right there on Madison and Pulaski, where we are coming to Madison and Pulaski August 18th, and we're going to have a public hearing there for 24 hours, and those documents are going to be taken to the federal government, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, seeking, asking, requesting for reparation for African Americans. Some will say, Ziff, you are worse than the little white ball behind the black ball on a pool table. You're behind the 8 ball on this one. I don't think so. I think that an open mouth get fed. No votes for economic oaks. The Democratic Party, the Republican Party, we are letting you know that business as usual is over. That's why I'm making this appeal. I'm making this appeal for white America, Hispanic American, for Jews and Gentiles all over this country. I'm calling on white America to stand with us. This is not about Reagan. This is not about Biden. This is not about Donald Trump. This is not about any of those people. This is about justice for Black America. Because out of all the races in this country, there is one race that continue to suffer, continue to be paralyzed by the injustice of this country. We're calling on white America. We're calling on the Hispanics. We're calling on our Jewish friends. We're calling on the Lithuanian community to stand with us in this fight for reparation. Now, some of you may not like this aspect of it. Some of you may say that if the checks are for us, how can you tell us that we need to use some of the money for health care, Beverly Miles? Here's a young lady in Illinois ran for the governorship and she was denied because of racism. Not from Black people, not from white people, but from that whole democratic process. We're calling on Black America, put aside your differences. We're calling on white America to stand with us as we've stood with you from every war, when the British came over here for you, when the Vietnam came from you, the Korean War, Hiroshima, Black people always stood with you. We will not talk about Biden. We will not talk about Donald Trump. We're not interested in any of those issues. We're only interested in one issue, and that's reparation. 37 million African Americans here in this country. If you gave, when you gave, not if, when we give $1 million to each African American to restore, to rebuild, to rejuvenate their lives, to get rid of the criminal component in our children. Black America, I'm calling on you to hear my cry on this one. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they will continue to play us as if we're a flute or if we're a piano if we continue to let them. We're calling on Black America. In this election, we are calling on a one-issue platform. We're calling on the Republican Party. When President Donald Trump came to Illinois recently, I was in Illinois with a friend of mine, a couple of friends of mine. And we went back in the back and we asked President Trump, what about us? What about Black America? And the president assured us that in the event, because the president can't put a bill on the floor. It has to come from a representative. It has to come from the House up to the Senate and then on the president's desk. And Donald Trump said he'll sign it. President Trump assured us that he would finally give a platinum deal to Black America. But that's not enough. A promise is not enough. We need the real deal now. So we're calling on Black America to do 3 things. The first thing Black America needs to do is Black America needs to begin to modify and moderate their behavior when it comes not only to each other, but when it comes to the general society at whole, at large. Beverly, you were denied the opportunity to represent the state of Illinois as the governor, the same as we have been denied. And we will not stop, just as you will not stop when Governor Pritzker denied you, Beverly Miles, from being the governor of this country. People were unaware until the last moment that you were running. But we're here now to let America know that it is a new deal. When we go to the polls in November, we're not going talking about Kamala Harris and abortion. We're not going talking about Biden's old age. We're not going talking about the Lithuanians. We're not going talking about Hamas. We're not going talking about Israel. We're going with one purpose, talking about Black America. How is it that we can begin to continue to contribute to this community, continue to contribute to this country, and every time that this country gets an opportunity, it takes its foot and it puts it up our behind. Some of you may not like the language that I use. Some of you may not like the verbiage, the vocation that I use. America, at this moment, Black America does not need reparation. We need restoration. We need to be restored first, repaired, reparation. Every day I come to this microphone, I will not be talking about abortion. I will not be talking about Donald Trump as an ex-convict. In America, when they brought us over here on the ship, we all was convicts. The greatest man that ever lived on the face of this earth was a convict, Jesus Christ. We're calling on $1 million to be allocated to the 37 million Americans. Y'all hear me now. I'm very serious. Because y'all know I could lose my life because of this issue. America don't play. When you start standing up for anything with Black folks, you got to go. Whatever you talk about, you want housing for Black people, you got to go. When you talk about you want jobs for Black people, you got to go. When are Black people going to start standing up for Black people? Our elected officials, I'm not going to get on them, but it's a shame. It's really a shame that all that we've done as far as we've come in this country, when you look around, you can't see nothing that we own. We used to own the music. We don't even own our own. Michael Jackson don't even own his own songs. Elvis Presley owns them. This is not a joke. I'm appealing to each, Leroy, I'm appealing to each and every America, narrow your sight at this election. We're not concerned about Israel. We're not concerned about the war in Italy. We're not concerned about the war in Mexico. We're not even going to concern about ourselves about you continue to let the migrants in and you're only sending them in our community. We're going to concentrate on one issue and one issue only in this election. And that's reparation for the African American community. Some people will say, well, if you worried about reparation, but my lights are out, we'll pay your bill. That's all. Or go down and work out a payment plan. Get you a payment plan, that's all. We're looking at a bigger picture right now. Now, I need to explain something to y'all, because y'all might say, well, you didn't tell us this. We may have to reshape this argument that we have with the federal government that we're going to present to the House Speaker after we speak in Illinois on July 13th. That's in July 13th at Kennedy King College at 10 o'clock, 734 West 63rd. Will Crosby will be there with Illinois with their reparation. Then the next day we're in Milwaukee with the Republicans. We're going to have a 24-hour hearing back to back. We're going to put those records together, and we're going to use those as our instrument to Congress. Then on August 18th, we're going to Madison and Pulaski, the dope capital of the world. And we're going to have a 24-hour hearing, and both of those documents are going to be taken to the federal government requesting that Black America be given. Do you know $40 million to Black America? To give Black America $40 million to restore, to invest in health and education. Every time the space shuttle go up to the space station, that's $3 billion. A B-1 bomber is 370. Google it. $17 million. It's time, y'all, for us to begin to ask God to show us how to deal with these people in this country. I'm not going to get on no soapbox on evilness of these people. I'm not getting on the soapbox and talk about the evilness of this country. If we don't have Black America, you don't have but one country. There's a lady named P. Ray in Chicago. She said we'll be crazy to talk about giving up on this country as many cotton and many roads that we built in this country. I need y'all to stand with me on this one. I intend to be consistent with this one. I intend to be focused with this one, just as I did today. I went and spent several hours on just researching who the National African American Reparation Commission was. Cam Howard and Daniels, the many people who are involved in the Black World 21st Century 501c3 organization, which consists of the National African American Reparation Commission. Somebody say, well, who appointed you, Ziff? I tell them that. And I tell them who appointed me. God appointed me. God appointed me because he needed somebody who know how to get things done. He appointed me because he knows that I know how to stick to things. And that's what we have to do with this election. We got 5 months. We have 5 months to get this thing done. That means just like I've done today, I need to reach all the members of the National African American Reparation Commission and see where they are with this. I need to begin to correspond with Beatrice Boyce in Chicago and see where she's at with her piece. I need to continue to talk to Will Crosby and see where he's at with his piece. I need to get letters to every congressman, every state representative, to beginning to get ready to have someone to take this bill back up again. This is a new bill. H.R. 40, we're not talking about that no more. As the spiritual leader of the reparation movement, thank you, Lord, for that. I am the spiritual leader, someone who are going to pray on this issue, someone who's going to stay on this issue, someone who's going to be tenacity, or have tenacity. Just as we did today. Today I went and did some serious research. Got up early this morning and did some serious research about this issue. Now let me say something to my African American brothers and sisters who may think that this is a deal that can't happen. Let me say something to you and just give you an example. There's a saying, they say if. It's something about if. If you can believe you can do this, you can do this, and you can do that. I am a living witness that if you believe you can do something, that you really can do it. You're looking at a miracle right here in front of you. It's not going to take us a miracle to get this reparation. The only thing it's going to take us is that we have to get on point together. We all should be able to ride the train for 10 minutes together on one track. And those who do not want to ride with us, then we let them go about their business. I want to go back and speak one more time to my white friends and my white colleagues. Those of you who are in the sound of my voice, I'm pleading with you with this election. The migrants came over, and just an example, the state of Illinois passed a $53 billion budget. And one of the line items that the governor signed was $700 million for migrants that's not even here yet. What about us? What about us? So I'm asking white America to join us with this push for reparation. I'm asking Black America to stay focused on what it is that you're trying to do with this issue. I'm asking God to give me the continuous wisdom, continuous strength, the leadership, the stick-to-itness that I will need when I approach, as P. Ray and myself did with the President Donald Trump and the Democrats. But more importantly, there's one person that I need to key in on, and that's not President Trump, that's Speaker House, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Because no matter what you do, no matter what happens in Congress, if the Speaker of the House does not go along with it, it will go nowhere. We're being joined by our senior in Chicago, a man who we admire very much, George Blake Moore. I'm glad that you could join us, Mr. Blake Moore. I'm so proud of the work that you're doing in Chicago with the mayor, pulling that whole coalition. George Blakemore, for some of you all who may not know who I'm talking about, George Blakemore is one of our elders in the city of Chicago who has taken the mantle up himself, literally himself, of whipping that body in line. Here's a senior or older gentleman named George Blakemore. Those of you who are in Chicago, you might want to catch him downtown. But he has single-handedly continued to whip that body, the county, the state, and the city. He continues on every opportunity that he gets. He continues to whip that body in line. George Blakemore, Beverly Miles, Beatrice, Committeeman McKinney. These are people who are fighting for us for reparation. These are people who are standing with us. But the only thing I'm saying is this: we have got to narrow our focus. We've got to get this thing down to one swing of the bat, one toss of the ball, one hoop shot, one serve. Because they're going to try to ignore us. Then they're going to try to divert our attention away from this issue of reparation. Once again, my name is Zip Sistrunk. I'm the director of Green Slate Institution. I have been appointed by God. Somebody may say, well, why didn't he appoint somebody else? Why did he appoint you? Because God needs somebody who know what they're doing when he sends you on assignment. And he has put me in this role to do what I did with my research to find out who is the National African American Reparation. What is HR 40? What does it say? How do we get it out of Congress? How do we get it in front of the President of the United States and get his signature? And they begin, the Commerce Department begin to cut checks. It is our goal in these next 5 months to put the pressure, excuse me for that, I hope y'all didn't hear that. It is our goal here at this desk, George Blakemore, and those of you in Chicago will take the mantle up and across this country begin to talk about the same thing. We don't want to talk about housing. We don't want to talk about abortion. We don't want to talk about losing democracy. This democracy has not helped Black America at all. We're talking about reparation, and we're talking about it here, and we're talking about it now, George. We need you, America. We fought with you, America. We fought for you, America. When you were putting those water hoses on us in the South, when you were putting those medical ills with the Tuskegee Airmen, with the Tuskegee syphilis, all of the properties that you destroyed, all of the lives that you destroyed, wow, in Tucson, Arizona. We have stood with you, America, through all of this carnage that you've done to us. Raped our children, raped our women, burned our land, killed us. And we continue to stand with you, America. But we're tired. But we have to accept the reality is that it is not enough of us to do this by ourselves. So we have to roll back. We have to roll back. We have to step back and let those who can make it happen come with us. George, Beverly, come with us when you have your church service, when you have your Thursdays, when you have your Friday meetings. Come with us on this issue. 47 million African Americans, I'm calling on this country to give each American the stimulus check. Show that you know how to get checks out. It's 47 million of us. That's almost $50 million. Every time the space shuttle goes up to the space station, that is $3 billion. To build a B-1 bomber is $370 million. And we're asking for $50 to $60 to $70 million to repair, restore, rejuvenate, revigorate Black America. What about us, George? What about us? Somebody may say, well, you're on this issue today, but what about tomorrow? Well, we're going to be right back on it again tomorrow. We're going to be right back on it next week. We're going to be right back on it next month. We're going to continue to talk about this till November 5th and till both parties at the Democratic Convention and at the Republican Convention, if there's not a plank on the platform that's saying, finally, we are going to restore, we're going to help, we're going to rebuild, we're going to revigorate Black America, like we've done everybody else. Governor Pritzker could resolve the reparation issue by himself. Governor Pritzker allocated $700 million for the migrants. That hasn't even arrived yet. That $700 million will go a long way in investing in the Black community in health and education and welfare and religion and restitution for Black parents. Some will say, Ziff, aren't you tired of fighting? Aren't you tired of being unsuccessful? No. Because when you are further from a win, you're only closer to a win. I believe that if we continue to stay on this issue, if we continue to talk about this issue, if we continue to plan and organize and strategize, that we will get reparations. I'm calling on our organization, Green Slate Institute for Justice. We're calling on our organization for $1 million for every African American in this country. And if you're 18 and over, we're asking that money be put into an esquire for you until you're 18 years old, and your money can be released for you. That's almost $50 to $75 million. That is chump change for America. Some of you may say, well, that's wholly and wholly underestimated. That is not enough for Black America, for all that we've gone through. You're selling us out, Ziff. You're asking for chump change. You're asking for crumbs. You're not asking for what we need. Well, then, you get a platform and you start asking. You get a platform and you start asking. So now I'm asking and you asking and somebody else asking and somebody else asking, and now they're beginning to hear us. And that's my strategy, is to continue every day at this microphone, continue to repeat it, continue to say it again and again and again and again, and then say it again, and then say it again, and then say it one more time, and continue to say it until somebody hear our cry. There is no reason, there is no effort put forth to at least consider the Black America for what they have done, for what we've done in this country. I'm not at odds with this country. This country has been good to me and my family. This country has given us opportunities that no other country probably would have given us. This country has. So why would we be adverse with this country? We are not adverse with this country. We're only saying that this country can be a lot better than it is. This country can be a lot more graceful with its people than it is. This country not only can help white America, not only can help migrants America, this country can help everybody, and that's what we're crying for. Those of you who have watched me since I was 11 years old, you understand my sympathy, my empathy, my feelings on this issue. Those of you who have watched me, you can tell that there's a compassionate about me on this issue. President Johnson realized that there was a need to give Black America its due. President Johnson knew that when he passed all those sweeping bills, he passed over 200 bills in Congress in his last days, George Grant. But none of it was for reparation. None of it was to restore. None of it was to heal Black America. Well, that's what we're going to do with this. Now, I wanted to break something else down to you all, too. We may have to do something a little different with this country. When this country gives money away, it likes to say, well, it's going to be for health, or it's going to be for housing, or it's going to be for mental health, or it's going to be for restoration of this, it's going to be for reparation of that. So what we're going to do, and some people will say, well, what, they gave us the money, why are they telling us how and what to do with it? We're going to break down a basic structure for a family who will be receiving this money as to what are some of the things that they probably will do with it, like health, investment, securing their living conditions, helping with education for their children. Nobody's going to disagree with that. And that's what we'll probably have to begin to do in this country. is break that $1 million down. Now, some people would say, well, wait a minute, Zip, hold it, slow down. You don't went too far now. You're going to give us the money, and then you're going to tell us how we should spend it? You're going to tell us that we have to do this with it? We have to. No, I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is how we're going to get it up out of Congress, how we're going to get it up out of our state representative, our Senate, how we're going to get it past the House and get the president to sign it. And then this first 100 days is going to be different from other 100 days. This 100 days, we want checks being written and not all that other foolishness. Y'all with me? Am I making sense? This is being rolled out slowly. This is being conceived slowly. I'm going back and look at the National African American Reparation Commission. I'm looking at what they have done so far. I'm looking at how they have approached this situation. I'm going to be talking to Beatrice in Chicago, Will Crosby in Chicago. I'm going to be talking to Cam Howard out here in Los Angeles. I'm going to find out how and what they're doing. And then we're going to do like Mama do a stew. We're going to mix it all together and we're going to come up with something that's good for all of us. Are you all with me on this one? I'm not the leader in so much with this reparation piece. There was a woman, what's her name, was telling me about her in the 1800s. There was a woman in the 1800s that started this thing with Congress about, let me see if I can find her name, because I saw her in some of the research. Also, incidentally, back in North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina, they had came up with a figure of $260,000 per person for 40 million blacks. This was in 2020. Professor Duke, Doherty, and Mullen had suggested that. But there was a lady who started reparation years ago. Here's her name here. It is against this backdrop that Mullen chronicled the effort of reparation justice pioneer Collie D. Guy House was her name, and Queen Mother Audley Moore. These were the ladies born in slavery in 1861. House was a widower with 5 children living in Tennessee before she became a driving force behind a federal lawsuit in 1950 that claimed the U.S. Treasury owed Freeman $68 million for selling grown slave harvests as cotton that was compensated from the Confederates at the end of the Civil War. The claim was denied. In 1916, House and other reparation leaders were indicted on charges of obtaining money from Freeman. Robert McKay, those of you who know Mr. Robert McKay in Chicago, Illinois, he brought that name up to me to teach me about Mrs. House in 1916. Now, here's where we at, you all, with this issue. We're going to stay on top of it. Those of you who are like Ms. Satanda, who's running for the school board in Chicago, Illinois, these are people, and Will Crosby and Beatrice Boyce. These are people who have been working in the trenches. Will Crosby him and his brother worked for years with Newhouse, Senator Newhouse, George. So where are we at now? This is day 2 or 3, I think it is, day 3, week 1. As we prepare this country for the assimilation and is getting ready to give black people reparation in this country. We are going to continue to work on it. We're going to continue to show people that there is a way that we can do this. It's not going to be easy, but the good thing about it, and this is what I like more than anything, we have 5 months before the November election. But we have a little less than that because we have to do this And it's got to be more than just a plank. A plank don't necessarily go anywhere. We have to get the Democratic Party and the Republican Party to commit to the 50 to the $100 million. Now, if we're talking about $1 million per, if the figures say that there's 47 million of us, then that's a B-1 bomber, or that's a trip to the space shuttle. Okay? Forgive me for that, y'all. I want to just appeal to you personally to help me with this issue. My email is ZIPPAllen, Zip Allen, 2 P's, 412 @gmail.com. That's ZIPP, Zip, with 2 P's, Allen, 412 @gmail.com. I need your ideas as to how we should approach this. The one thing I want to do for the next 5 months is I want to stay on top of this issue. I want to be able to, I personally, with P. Ray and Committeeman McKinney in Chicago, we have one of the Fourth Ward committeemen, Paul McKinney, who's working with us. We got elected officials with us already. We have nurses, Beverly Miles ran for governor. We have people who ran for governor in Illinois that's working with us. P. Ray have the ear of President Trump, and we're going to take advantage of that. We're not going to miss and use people, but we're going to take advantage of the fact that P. Ray knows the president. So we want to get the bill ready, and the bill is going to say immediate compensation. Immediate compensation. The moment the president on January 5th, when he signs, when he goes to the White House and signs, he goes right to the Commerce Department, start cutting them checks. January, we're looking at January of 2025 that the Black American can finally begin to get healed. 6 months. We're asking the federal government to begin. And you show all, once they pass it, once the president signs it, it goes to the check people and they start cutting checks like they did for Israel. Huh? You see how they cut them checks for Israel, don't you? You see how they cut that check for Lithuanian, don't you? You see how they cutting them checks for them migrants, right? You got to be afraid. The Bible say you receive not because you ask not. But we're not gonna have that problem, because we're definitely gonna ask. We're gonna ask that we be given reparation, compensation, $1 million each. That's almost $50 to $60 million. That's a space shuttle, a trip to the space shuttle. That's a B-1 bomber. Huh? That's one trip. The White House taking one trip over in Israel. They're in Italy now. That's one trip. $40-50 billion that we're calling on for Black America. And each person, we want you to get $1 million, and for health, education, investing in your family, and bringing the family back. Black men, get ready to come back home. I like that. Huh? Black men, get ready to come back home. Ain't that a good thing, George? Leroy? Brother Ali? Palmama? I can't say your name right? Beverly? God bless you, Beverly. I can't see our other person there. But all of you all who have joined me, I want God to just keep on blessing and keep giving me the strength to keep flushing this ideal out. Keep flushing the support out. And when the Speaker of the House comes out here, we're going to try to grab him and sit down with him as quick as possible and let him know that we need him on board with this issue of reparation for Black people. I only got a few more minutes, y'all. I told you I'm staying on this here. This is everybody got an assignment. This is my assignment. to stay on zip your time. You ain't got, we don't want you out there passing out this. We don't want you out there registering no voters. We don't want you out doing none of that. Only thing we want you to do is get the bill ready. Get ready for those hearings. So when we are in Milwaukee, when we're in Chicago, and when we're on the west side of Chicago with the hearing, for 24 hours and get those documents ready to go to Congress and let them hear what people are saying about why African Americans should be given. I'm not saying reparation, I'm saying reparation. We need to be repaired first. Beverly? Black America needs to be repaired with human services, with clothing, with housing. The first thing we need to do is we need to be prepared and restored and rejuvenated and revigorated. Health, emotionally, mentally. And that's what that $1 million are going to be able to do. Is going to be able to get you to help out with your family, to help out with health issues, to invest in your community, to invest in better health, to invest in better living conditions, to invest in friends and families. I think we're on to something, y'all. We only got a few more minutes here with you all, so I want to go back over a couple of more things with you, and then we're going to let you go. And we'll be back with you again Tuesday. I'm back in studio Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'm doing 4 days this week coming up. Again, I want to thank the National African American Reparation Commission. I want to thank Ms. Simmons, Maddie Sanders, Juliana, Shirley Simmons, Cam Howard, Jessica Mitchell. These are all the people who are on the commission. We want to thank all of them. We will be in touch with them. The Durham City Council members, we thank you all for sending me this information over on just what you all did 2-3 years ago. I appreciate that. And I want to thank you all who are at home. Kamala, Rodney. I want to say that God is reaching us from a distance. God hears us. From a distance, God sees our struggle. From a distance, God knows what we are going through from a distance. From a distance, we seem as though that there is no hope in a hopeless situation. From a distance, it seems that way. Beverly Miles, from a distance, it seems as though all of the effort that you have put forth on the west side, you and P. Ray and Paul, Committeeman Paul, and Mark and Beverly and Beatrice, and all of the rest of us who have put forth an effort. Cheryl, God bless you. Y'all, I can't always see the bottom of I have to lean like this here. I better look because to make sure everything's okay. Oh yeah, my knees. Yo, I got to stay serious, y'all. I cannot let y'all pull me off my square. I have to be serious. I got 5 months. We're going to put flyers out. We're going to have letters going to congressmen. And I just need the black community to, I'm not the leader of nothing. I ain't lead nobody but me. But I am inspiring. God has inspired me to take this mantle forward. If we do not get reparation now, and I'm not going to say that, we are going to get reparation. We ain't going to worry about how difficult it's going to be down the road because President Trump has already made a commitment. And then we have to approach our Democratic friends on the other side. And we can begin to get something that Black America deserves. Now, let me, because I'm really serious, we only got 5 more minutes. I want to say thank every one of y'all. I want to thank you, and I'm all over the globe. This show is all over the world now when we come on. We're not just in Chicago, Minnesota, Las Vegas, Nevada. We're all over the world, and I thank God for using me in this capacity. I thank God for giving me the ability to research this issue. There's got to be hours of research. There's got to be letters mailed out. There's got to be phone calls being made to the congressman. There's got to be T-shirts made up, caps made up. And that's the good thing about this facility where we work at, is you can do all of those things right here. I want to thank you all for joining me today. All of the people who have taken time to write, and say, Mr. Sistrunk, keep going. You're on to something. Keep going. You are on to something. Now, what we have to do is we have to narrow the issues. We have to begin to have signs. You see those people out protesting about the Gaza and the war. We have to do the same thing. This has got to be a 6-month campaign that we have got to wage to pull this together and make this happen. And I believe that we can do this. And I know we can do it. It's not going to be easy. But the main thing is I want me to ask God to give me the strength to stay focused, to begin to get information such as I did today with the committee that has been appointed by Congress, learn more about House Bill 40, or how do we get it up to the Congress. And more importantly, I know that the bill is there, but I want to know what is in that bill. Or what we may have to do is just replace that bill with the bill that we're proposing, $1 million. And now a lot of people are going to say, you're selling out, if we deserve way more than that. Well, I'm like this. Listen, some of y'all been on this issue. What was the lady name? Miss House in 1916. Some of y'all been on this issue since 1916. I'm 1 week into it, okay? I'm not trying to go back to 1916, okay? We need to get this done in 5 months before the president do this. See, once he do this here, then when he do this here, the president do this, this is what we want him to do. Watch this. Somebody have a pen in his hand and bring it down like this here. And when he bring his hand down, get that pen and do that. Get that over to the Commerce Department and start making those checks out like you did with the stimulus checks. So you showed us that you know how to make checks out and you know how to locate people and you know how to get the money out. So we're not worried about that. We see there's a way to do that. And we're going to march forward. I want to say thank you all. I've landed out. I'm taking my time with this issue because this is an important issue and you got to be able to do it right. A lot of people don't know that Congress move real slow. Congress move real slow. A lot of people didn't know this. You think Congress move fast, but it doesn't because it has to move with precision. And that's what I got to do with this issue. I have to move with precision, just like I went and did my research on who are the people that they are putting in charge. See, God put you in charge there, but the people down here put people in charge of this issue, and you have got to bring what you got to the table so we all can work together. Am I making sense? Yes, I am. If a task once begun, never leave it till it's done. Bit the label, big or small. Do it well or not at all. I have really enjoyed these 2 hours with you all. I think it went pretty fast. Don't you think so? I'm so lovely and so grateful and so thankful. George called me. Oh my God. George came on the air. Pamarla, I love you. Beverly, I love you. I think about everybody. I gotta say on this issue, y'all. Even if I'm not gonna say we failed because I don't believe in that. I just don't believe in failure. I'm just a different person. I just don't believe in it. I believe in setbacks. You can have a setback, but I don't believe in failures. If a task once begun, never leave it till it's done. Bit the label, big or small, do it well or not at all. My mother always said that. If a task once begun, never leave it till it's done. Bit the label, big or small, do it well. Keith Morton. Keith Martin. We'll catch you tomorrow, Keith. We're back here Tuesday, guys. Got a lot of work to do this weekend. Coming back with you all. We're working on getting some T-shirts. It's in reparation now. 5 months to the election. Getting ready to go into Milwaukee. Getting ready to go July 13th, Kennedy King College, 10 o'clock. The 14th, Milwaukee, and August 18th in Chicago for the 24-hour hearing. Keith, and all of you who join me, I can't see you all on that one. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Nevada, all over the world, you all are joining me, and I really appreciate y'all faith in me. I really appreciate the ability that God has given me to keep working on this issue. I really, really, really think it's something that what a glorious day. What a glorious day to be able. This was like I look at this like when Reagan signed Martin Luther King Day for his day. I look at this like this. And this is how I'm looking at this situation here about reparation. That each American is to get $1 million for health, for investment, for family, for mental health, for things that will help your family and pull us together. And this will restore Black America. The migrants, when the president, not president, in Illinois, a governor gave $700 million for migrants in his new budget, and the migrants is not even here. This plan that we have for 47 million Black Americans, $1 million to each one of them, we're not even talking about $100 million. Every time the space shuttle goes up, that's $3 billion. Every time they build a B-1 bomber, that's $370 million. All right, that's it. We're going to let you go. If a task, once again, never leave it till it's done. Get the label big or small. My name is Zip Anthony Sistrunk. Those of you who want to reach us at ZIPP Allen, ALL412 @gmail.com. Those of you who want to make a small donation, of course, it's Cash Out, $ZIPP Allen, ALLEN. You want to drop a line to us, that's zipallen412 @gmail.com, 818-858-7366. You can go back and look at this program and get all of that information again. Thank you. Bye.
Do you have a problem with shutting the fuck up?
For America to begin to deal and grow up with this issue, it is 47 million Americans.